Hello, everyone. I'm here with Andrew Dowley. Andrew, welcome to Ride to Independence.
Great to be here, Trish.
How are you, sir?
Great, great. It's Friday here in Australia, so I'm about ready to knock off for the weekend. Very excited.
That's fantastic. All the way from Australia, everybody. I have Andrew Dowling here. So, Andrew, we're here to talk about Stitch. So, for all the listeners out there, what is Stitch?
So Stitch is a community for over 50s. We are focused on improving people's lives through social connections. So one of the things that, well, we started 10 years ago, and actually I used to get up on stage and talk about, did you know that being lonely and isolated was worse for your health than smoking or obesity? And I can remember people would kind of be in the audience kind of going, no, I can't believe that doesn't sound right. And then fast forward
Yeah.
to, we went through COVID, and sure enough, now everyone goes, yeah, everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. But no, so we build a community that's really oriented on improving people's lives by giving them the connections, social connections they need. And as we age, our social circle shrinks. There's a lot of pressure on it. People relocate, they, friend groups fall out, you get divorced, your partner dies, like there's lots of reasons. And so we build a community that's designed to continually replenish those connections. Some people find new life partners in the community, but most people, it's all about just companionship and improving your lives, because most aspects of life are better if you do it with other people.
That is absolutely correct. But how did you come up with this idea to do Stitch? Did you know someone in your life that was lonely and you were like, I need to connect that person with so and so? And then you had a light bulb moment.
Yeah, look, my background, I've got a long background in technology, and I did a master's thesis in social enterprise. So the idea of building a business
Okay.
to make the world a better place. And the idea is, you build this, as long as it can sustain itself from a revenue perspective, you're having a massive impact. And it's different from a for-profit business, and it's different from a charity. A charity is, how do I get really good at raising money so that I can then do this thing? Whereas social enterprise, and I studied it. I was like, right, I'm going to go and make one. And Stitch is my second business. And the first one was for people who were missing out on being able to use technology, particularly seniors, like extreme seniors who had just never, ever seen a smartphone before or anything like that. That then led me to how lonely and isolated they were. And even though we were getting them connected, they were saying to me, Andrew, this is fine, thanks. But actually, it doesn't address my major need, which is I'm feeling really lonely, and just being connected to the internet, that doesn't help me at all. And then the more we started to look at it, the more we realized it wasn't just seniors, like it's everybody. This issue is for everyone. Now, we chose 50 and above because that's the stage where you're no longer finding that social connections are coming to you automatically, whether it's, in the workplace or being a parent or going to college, or like when you're younger, this stuff happens automatically. And we kind of take it for granted that you're going to have new people in your life because it happens. But when you hit a certain age, you go, unless you change your behavior, it does not happen. So we chose 50, recognizing that for many people, that was a point where they're not looking to settle down and have kids anymore. They've passed that stage. Maybe their kids are moving home and they're going, "Now,
Mhm.
what's next?" But really, it happens forever. Like we've got people from 50 all the way through to their 90s in the community, and the evidence
Oh,
is there.
really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got a lot of and what's great is to see that mingling of generations is super healthy for all people, because on the young side, people get to see, oh my God, life does not finish. Like life goes on, and there's so much to look forward to. And then if you're at the older side, you go, well, actually, I'm, I'm losing a few of my friends. I've got new friends coming through, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I went, one of the events I went to recently was hip hop dancing. We went to a hip hop dance class, and I just put it out. The way Stitch works is anyone can suggest something, and others will come along, and it's all about, doing the things you enjoy, but finding friendships through that. And to my delight, we went to the Sydney Dance Company, and I didn't think there would be many people interested in hip hop dancing, but I've always thought I'd love to know how to dance. I was never bold enough to learn when I was younger. Anyway, we had 70-year-olds, late 70s in our group, or from 50s all the way to the late 70s. There were all these young people in the group too. They were so jealous of us because we were all bonded together and
Yeah.
talking and saying, let's go out for drinks afterwards and blah, blah, blah. But age is just such not a barrier. And so having that larger cohort, I think, is really important for the community.
Well, okay, so that you said a lot there. You said about having a hip hop. So, where would these, let's say I was interested in joining that hip hop. Do you do this live through the computer?
No, no, no. So I'll slow down.
Okay.
And welcome
Okay.
to the Andrew experience, by the way. I just get very excited about what we do, and I'm probably the happiest person on the planet because I get to meet so many of our members, and because it's all about improving lives through doing the things you enjoy. And the typical sort, like, often when a community is getting started, so we've got the big focus is on in-person activities in your local area because we know, and the
Okay,
research
so
tells us.
in-person activities
Exactly.
in your areas.
Correct.
So do you then have a member be like an ambassador for that area and they set up all the meet and greets or the activities? You give them the lessons
Yeah, so
or you give them the outline of what to do.
that does happen, but that's not the only way it
Okay.
happens because it's very organic.
Okay.
People can join and they can message people in the area and do all that sort of stuff that happens. So there's a technology component, but that's really what it is the community itself is what makes Stitch special. So the technology helps you see, are there people in my area? There's events happening in my area. What's the time and so on. Anyone can suggest something. So you might say, well, I would like to go out fine dining or go to the opera, or it doesn't anything, stand-up comedy, whatever. You can suggest it. You don't need to organize it. So we're much more democratic. It's not top down. There's only one person doing it. Anyone can suggest things. And what we often find is people don't think of themselves as organizers, but once they have suggested something, it gets some
Mhm.
momentum, they realize they're having a positive impact on other people's lives. And it's really, really addictive to go, I'm so important just by being willing to set up a time and a place for everyone to get together. And then they get together and it kind of starts to snowball. So in the early stages of any local area, and in the last 12 months, we've had another 100 new communities start. We're all over the US. We're now growing in Canada, the UK, Australia. We started in Australia, New Zealand. And the idea is eventually it's everywhere. We actually have had members attend activities in 85 countries because we do have a virtual component as well. But the big focus is
Okay.
on the in-person because the research tells us that's going to make the biggest difference in your life if you are.
Right.
There's one phrase I love, which is friendships are formed, not found. You don't just look at a directory of people and go, oh, there's my new friend. You create friends by
Right.
doing things over and over again. And the way Stitch works is rather than just joining a group, like, okay, say I was into hip hop dancing, which I'm not, I just wanted to try it. But I might join hip hop dancing. Oh, well, I wonder if I'd make a new friend there. You go, okay, but I don't want to just make a friend because I like hip hop dancing. I want to do other things. I want to go for walks. I want to go, go see a movie. I want to see stand-up comedy. So the community is all about that. So by doing those things, and over time, you start doing them with similar people who've got similar interests. You start forming these new friends, and it's you get enjoyment out of the building of the friendship is actually the fun part as well as getting the friendship.
Right. Right. But let's start from the beginning again. If I wanna be a member of STIP,
Yeah.
I join, and then do you have, like, a schedule of
Yeah.
activities in my areas
Yeah. So where are you
for me
located?
to join?
Where are you located?
Huh? I'm in New Jersey in, United
Yeah,
States
we
of
we've got a
America.
bunch of, in fact, I was just on a trip with Stitch members down the West Coast, and one of our members on that trip was from New Jersey. in a small community, I didn't realize how active it was in that area. It's fantastic. So, yeah, so if you join, what you see is you go, "Oh, I can see all the events coming up in my area. I can see
Okay.
I
So you post events, so people see the
They can see the
events.
events, they can see the interest groups, they can see the members,
Okay,
they can, whatever. So, and then they get
okay,
welcomed in. So that's one thing that we, while yes, and I don't want to focus too much on the website, it helps you discover things, but Stitch is very focused on being a community that welcomes everybody. And so we've got a set of behaviors. You need to be kind, you need to be welcoming, you need to be friendly, supportive, that sort of stuff.
yes,
So,
of
and if people
course, of
aren't that,
course.
then maybe they don't belong in the community. But if they're willing to do that, and the principle is if you're willing to enrich the life of someone else just by smiling or going to an event, then you're welcome. And that then amplifies your quality of life. So I'm a new member in New Jersey. I'm a bit nervous. I might join. I sign up for a free account. We've got free memberships. You can stay for free forever.
Okay, so it is free, it's a free membership.
There's a paid membership as well, so you get a lot more out of it because of
Okay,
paid, partially because we need the ability to sustain the community. So
of
obviously
course.
there's a website to run, customer service, insurance, and so on. But the big one is every time a member joins in your area in New Jersey and they pay their membership, that money goes to helping promote the community in that area, so more people in that area join. It's all about growing the community in that area. It kind of doesn't really go back to us. So it's very yes, we don't do advertising, like we don't sell our members, interest, we don't get advertised on the platform because we know we always wanna work in the interests of our members. And so that's where the membership fee comes in, but you don't have to. You can be a limited member. We've got assistance programs for people who can't afford it. We've got volunteering programs, and it's all about it creates this wonderful community where no one needs to miss out. They can all join. But the thing that you will find if you're joining, and I'm sure one of your any of your listeners would feel this. I'm joining a community. I don't know anyone yet. I'm pretty nervous about meeting someone new. And so one of the things we do a lot on Stitch is get the existing members to reach out to them and welcome them in and say,
Okay,
you are so important. We love having you here," because really that we have a lot of social barriers about joining new things, and that can really hurt us when we get older because we start to be reluctant to go and try something new or meet new people who when they all seem friends and they don't know me, I'm a bit scared. And so we're really working to break
right.
down those barriers and get people to go, "You are so welcome when you come along to an event." And, in some areas we don't have much of a community, but it's starting up, and then others it's really booming. But then more and more our members are traveling and meeting people in other areas as well and going, "Oh my God, I'm part of this global community where everyone has a role in making each other's lives better."
So if I'm a Stitch member and I'm gonna be in London for the
Yeah,
summer,
lucky you.
I could reach out to other Stitch members in
Yeah,
London.
absolutely. Yeah,
Fantastic,
and
fantastic.
not only reach out, you can I've seen this happen a lot. When people travel, the community kinda treats you like a special guest star. "Oh, you've come all the way, but you're a Stitch member." So we did this trip. This is our very first time this year doing it. We're doing it next year in Ireland and Sicily, but, we went down the West Coast, and I took 30 members, and they were from all over the US, all over Australia, and 1 member from the UK, and we went from Seattle to Portland and then regional Portland or wine country and the redwoods and down through NorCal and getting to San Francisco. And along the way, we had communities everywhere, and the people would come out to welcome us because they were so excited to have this group coming from around the world. And it was sometimes they dressed up in costumes. It was
Yeah,
hilarious,
yeah,
but it was really really bonding for everybody to feel like, yeah, doesn't matter where you are, you belong.
right. Well, I'm jealous because I would have been part of that troop, for
You're
sure.
you can come on the next one.
Well, let me tell you, Andrew, I'm glad that you and I connected because, as you know, I'm part of the senior community. I run a senior concierge service, and I deal with a lot of lonely
Yep.
seniors who never married, never had children. They're the last person of their lineage,
Yep.
no uncles, no cousins, or they're widowed. or they're estranged from their family because they never married and they never had children, so they're isolated. And it's a lonely world out there for them, and I try to brighten their day when I do get to see them, and this is just something that I will be advocating and I will be talking about it,
I
but
love it.
a lot of my clients are not tech
No.
savvy. They barely know how to use a phone. They don't have computers. That's another issue I'm sure you're running into with the older
Yeah,
community. I'm not talking about the 50, 60-year-olds. I'm
correct.
talking about, my 70-year-olds, my 80 years olds, my 90-year-olds. So,
So
what do you do
let me
about
talk.
that?
Well, yeah. So I mean, there's a few things I will be doing in the future, which I think will make it even better. But one thing we observed is when we first started, people were saying, "Oh, you can't do this for seniors. They'll never be able to use technology." And what I discovered is almost any senior will do it if it matters to them. Don't make
Mm.
me go online banking because I actually quite like going to the bank and talking to the teller. But if this helps me address a problem I really have, which is I'm lonely, then they will learn. And we have members who, as far as I can tell, I've sat with them. I'm pretty sure they don't know how to use a phone, but that doesn't stop them coming to Stitch events. There's a few ways, we know they know how. Many of them they can at least read an email, and so we rely a lot on email. But a lot of them also, even if they struggle with that or they don't have access, they'll either have a family member or even coming to one event and meeting people in the Stitch community where the Stitch members will then call them up and say, I know you came to this last event. Would you like me to pick you up and do this? So this idea that we can all look after each other, we've got this big
Yeah,
focus on community because that's been lost in Western society in the last 20, 30, 40 years. Like we don't look after our neighbors anymore. We don't look after, like it's so isolating, and that's accentuated this problem.
yeah,
100 years
yeah.
ago, the people you're talking about, they'd be living in the community with the people they're brought, and it just
They
look
would be living with the grandparents. They would be living
exactly.
with the aunts and the uncles.
That's right. That's
Absolutely.
right. So
Absolutely,
what
yeah.
our
You know
idea is, look, that's been broken. What if we could recreate that, but not we can't change the whole of society, but technology can actually bring people together, and so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, you might want to consider I'm just thinking top of my head, I know I take seniors to the library. There might be some advertising of Stitch at the library. The library has computers. The library has people that can help them with
That's right.
computers. So that's an
Yeah.
idea. Possibly, form something at one of the local
We
libraries.
we
Have you
we
thought
find
about
libraries are we've had a couple of great events and there are some libraries, but
Okay.
because they're so independent, often they run independently, so it depends on each librarian to go, "Oh, yeah, I want to do this," and so, yeah, we definitely that happens in some areas. Doesn't happen in all areas, but eventually, the more people hear about what we're doing, that it's the community itself is a not-for-profit charity. So, we find that over time, most organizations come around to this idea that, "Oh, yeah, we'd really like to support this," because our community then helps them as well. Like, we bring more people to the library. It's just a way to our philosophy is anything that's improving the lives of our members is great. Um,
Yeah.
Library community events, things like that are just brilliant.
Now, I'm just gonna clarify something. I was assuming that you were a dating app,
Right. Happens a lot.
but you're not a dating app.
No, in fact, we've I mean, it's on the website. We explain we're not dating app. We do have, like, I think part of the issue is, um, people on Stitch, people can say, "I'm looking for romance," because it is true. Many people
Okay.
have lost their partner. You were talking before about people who, you know, didn't have kids or whatever. Loneliness and isolation happens. It's going to happen to all of us. Every single person listening to this show, it's going to happen to either you die or the people around you die at some point. Like it does happen, right?
Yeah.
And I know it sounds
Yeah.
brutally harsh to say that, but it's the truth. So it can
It's the
it can
truth.
happen to us. So a lot of our members will be thinking, I'm lonely, but it's kind of my fault. You go, no, 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 it's not your fault. It's actually inevitable. what everyone needs to do is to learn the skills to then start, "How do I make new friends and how do I do it?" And it's very natural if you just join a community because you just join a community, you're not thinking about it. You're just doing things, and over time, you then build these really close friendships. But we do let people declare, "Well, actually, I'm open to romance as well." And plenty of people who've
Okay.
lost a life partner, they
Mhm.
check it, but it's not their number one goal. It's more just like, "Well, that'd be great if it happened." But so, you can put friendship and romance and so on. Um, but yeah, for some reason, people, I don't know, people just go, "Well, if it's got romance associated, it's gotta be a dating app." Dating apps are very different. They're all about how do you game the system, and because they know that you're gonna, if you find what you're looking for in a dating app, you're no longer a member or a customer. Whereas on Stitch, p als basically the majority of people who find their life partner on Stitch stay in the community because they've learnt, it's happened very organically, and they realize this is I need to be part of this community. It's where all my friends are. It's what's gonna look after me as I age, and so, yeah, we're not about dating. Dating's a very artificial, I mean, actually going on a date's not artificial, but dating apps are. They make you judge people by their profile and what they say about themselves, and, like, I don't know, like,
Right, right.
there's so much more to each person you meet than just what they say on a dating app. So, we're very focused on come along to events and activities,
Okay.
just come and experience and enrich your life and see what happens.
Now you say that you're a membership, free membership or paid membership. Are the paid memberships different in different countries,
No,
or is it all over the world the
pretty,
same?
I mean, obviously, it's in different currencies, but it's roughly the same. It works out to be roughly the same, wherever you are. Uh, and, um, and yeah, it's free everywhere as well. But no, so
Can you tell me, Andrew, how much it is here in United States?
yeah, so in the US, our basic, well, there's the free one, which is free, and then the basic
The
basic
basic
well, we
one.
c we
Yeah.
call them full members. So you're fully engaging
Okay.
in the ability to go to any event and activity and as many as you want and all that sort of stuff. Whereas limited members, um, they can actually, they can go to as many events they want if they're willing to contribute to the community in some way. Like they can post an event and activity, and then they can message people and so on. But if you just want to go to events and activities, they've got a limited number of activities they can come to. The basic level of membership, it works out to about $7 a month in the US. And then if you want to
Okay.
go beyond that and do a lot of the one-on-one stuff, which is people who are looking for that sort of more romantic thing, then it's $10 a month on an annual.
Very reasonable. That's very reasonable,
The
Andrew.
idea is to make it, that's on an annual, so that's $7 a month over the full year. And the reason we do it that way is we know people people are reluctant and they're nervous when they join, but once they pay that
Yeah,
annual fee,
they
they
are.
kinda go, "Well, I've paid annually, I might as well make the most of it now." So then they go keep going to events, and then lo and behold, after by going
Right.
to a few events, they start to form these friendships. Whereas if you make it much more a focus on the monthly, then they think of it as more like, "Oh, it's a service where I'm just gonna go and get a friend, and if I don't get a friend in the first month, then I'm gone." You go, "No, it doesn't, friendships don't work that way." Like, you don't,
That's right.
they
That's right.
don't. You have to be willing to put in, you've gotta get out of your comfort zone, come along to things, and so on.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Are you finding more of the Stitch members to be in their 50s and 60s as opposed to a lot older?
Well, it depends on the location. So when we're starting a community, we tend to find they're at the older end. So in their, late 60s, 70s, 80s. And probably
Mhm.
because they're the ones who first joined and say, like, it really has got to a point where I really need to do something. I've been happy and I'll just, whatever. Sometimes their kids are saying, "Mum, you've got to do something." Um,
Right,
but
right, yeah,
we find once a community is up and running, it gradually increases the number of younger people in the community because, not every, some people in their 50s, in fact, on the trip down the US, there's a woman, she's just turned 50 and she was waiting to join Stitch. And she said to me, all her friends is like, "Why are you doing something with all these old people?" And but
right.
she said, "Well, oh, what's wrong with you? Like, don't be so ageist." But number two, she had a great time. But after she joined, then some of her friends went, "Oh, she seems to be having a really good time. Or maybe I'll join too." So the more you start seeing people around your age, the more that you start to join. So it gradually drifts and then we fill it out. So in our super active communities, people in their 50s and 60s, there's a lot more of them because there's more of them in general. But then 70s and 80s, we still have. So it kind of starts older, then it expands.
Right. Are you getting more female or more
We
male?
have more females than men. It's about probably 2 to 1, but that reflects a couple of things. There are more women than men in general out there. We also have some pretty strict rules about behavior. And unfortunately, I hate to generalize because some of our best members are men, but um,
Yeah.
we also see some patterns where a certain type of man will join the community thinking this certain type of behavior is acceptable when it's not. And if you can think about, if you've ever been on a dating site, there's some pretty bad behaviors out there. So we kind of get rid of them. And then the other thing that brings down the number of men is some men just they take a lot longer to start to engage and realize that actually I need
Yeah.
people. They kind of feel like, oh, I'm
Right.
I'm have to be alone. And they go, you're not, but they haven't quite figured out. Women, they figured it out. They know.
That's very
Yeah.
true. I happen to run into that with a lot of my
Yeah.
clients, the men clients as opposed to the women clients, but, it's very difficult for me to try to get my clients to be more
Yeah.
engaged. I mean, I'm asking them all the time, Andrew, "Well, why don't I sign you up for the senior
Yeah.
center? So I can take you for activities." And a lot of them are in that rut where they don't wanna get
They
out.
don't, they don't. You know what, one thing that
Are
we
you
found
Yeah,
is the women are inherently just interested in connecting. So it doesn't need to have a point, whereas the men tend to be a little bit task focused. And what we've found is once a community is up and running, when the men discover that they're really important, there's a lot of things that they could do to help others. And it might be helping organize events or, there's kind of like, I have a role here. It's quite well defined.
gives them purpose.
Gives
It
them
gives them
purpose,
purpose.
and, I mean, it's the same with the women too, we give them purpose, but the men really respond to that. So in an active Sydney is our most active community, we get about 50% men at events, even though it's only 30% of the community, because once it's up and running, they've all had that chance to realize, I'm it's not about I need you, but I realize you need me. So the men really like to be valued, I think. They like to have a role,
Mhm.
and maybe that's because they're from a generation where, I was the breadwinner or whatever, and suddenly that's not
Right.
happening. But we give them that. It's not financial reward. It's just the reward about you're so important at helping improve our community and other people's lives. And the men actually really start to resonate on that once they feel socially comfortable and over their anxiety. I mean, everyone's got the anxiety, but we do find the men, uh, and again, generalization, but men in general find that initial part of anxiety about turning up in a group and I don't know, and are they going to accept me?
Right.
They find a high level of anxiety, and research has shown this. They find a high level of anxiety, but then once they realise they're part of it, it's you can do. Men are brilliant. They can do such great things.
Now tell me, the first week they join, is there an orientation?
Well, in a sense, we give people.
Do they learn? I mean, is there certain things that they have to learn? They have to learn how to use it,
Yeah,
right?
that's true, that's true. So we send everyone information to help how to use it, but we try to
Okay,
de-emphasize it's not a thing you have to learn, it's more just like, just come along.
okay.
Just come along to an event and your fellow members will help explain things to you. But that is challenging. The other thing we have to overcome is safety. So I'm sure a lot of other websites suffer from this, but if you're a site that allows people to connect with strangers, you are an absolute attraction to scammers. And we've found particularly over the last 6 months with the rise of AI, that the scammers are just like, it's been a 10 times increase and fake profiles and so on. So
Mm,
we've got a verification process that people have to kind of go through to verify themselves. Now they can come to an event, but a lot of people, that's, I'm scared to go to an event yet. I'm not sure. So they can verify
right.
online, but that is a little bit of a barrier for someone. So once they've got to kind of get over that, but but it's great because, we've been running for 12 years. We've never had anyone scammed on Stitch. And we hope to maintain that, track record. It is a scourge on society. All of these scammers are out there just trying to destroy lives. And so we're
Yeah.
constantly, it's a game of whack-a-mole trying to, protect our members. But the good thing is because it's a
Of
community,
course.
it's not like a dating site where you only ever talk to one person. You get to see, "Oh,
Okay.
this person never came to an event." Okay, but I mean, if you're turning up at events and activities, you're in a safe environment in public spaces, it's really safe, and the community looks after itself. But yeah, there is that initial burden of you've got to get verified before you can freely interact
Right.
with anyone.
Of course. It makes sense. And I like what you mentioned earlier that you take people who've already been part of Stitch
Yeah.
and you sort of attach them to the new
Yeah.
members. Do they reach out to them? Do Stitch members reach
They
out to
do,
the new
they do.
members?
So if you
Okay.
join, you get a welcome message. You get welcome messages from me, that's automated, although I
Okay.
do actually manually answer every single question anyone sends me. Um, but you get some automated kind of how-to things, but we also get our members in the local area, and if there's not anyone in the local area, someone from nearby will then send you a message and welcome you in. Don't
Okay.
have to respond,
Yeah.
don't have to, but it's letting you
Right.
know there's people out there who are willing to help.
Well, you have 340,000 worldwide members. I found out.
Yes.
That is an amazing accomplishment. You're one of the largest social communities out there for older adults. And I just think that's fantastic. I am definitely going to be talking to my clients and see if I can get any of them to be part of STIT.
Love it. Love it.
Because I think it's important that they get out there. Again, I'm always pushing for my clients to get out and not be home sitting doing nothing. You and I know cognitively it's good for them. It expands their years in life, being socially
Yeah.
active. So that's always what I'm trying to do. And I appreciate that that's what Stitch is all about, also.
Well, the
Correct?
more people that hear about it, the more it grows. Most of how it grows through word of mouth. So stories like this are really, really helpful. Can't thank you enough.
Absolutely. Now, what advice would you give a senior who's feeling a little bit intimidated about being on this online community?
Well, don't think about it as an online community at first. Although I will say, I did mention we've got a online component. So we have virtual activities. We've got members who are housebound.
Okay, virtual
Yeah, we've
activities.
got
Okay.
members who are housebound who can't get out, and so yeah,
Oh,
so we need to give them,
okay.
and so they play games and discussions and philosophy and all that sort of stuff. So, in fact, and I run welcome events all the time. So my advice would
Okay.
be, look, there's nothing to lose. It's free to sign up. You can come along to welcome as many of my events as you want. There are free virtual events, and a lot of people find the virtual events less threatening because they go, oh, I know this Andrew guy, but how do I trust that he's not AI? In fact, funny story, many members turn up to my event to go, I just wanted to to prove to myself that you're a real human being and not AI. I'm like, oh my God, what's happened to the world? Um, but yeah, so anyone who's feeling nervous, number one, they should know it's natural to be nervous. We evolved as a species to
Yes.
be scared of meeting new tribes. Like if you think about in the jungle, and if you were wandering along and you met a tribe
Yes.
that knew each other and they didn't know you, they're probably going to kill you. So yeah, our brain sends signals to us to say, run away. These people know each other. You don't. You're not welcome. And it's not so dissimilar to the parts of the brain that light up when a soldier is being shot at in wartime. So it's natural to feel nervous. So first thing is everyone should
Yeah.
accept, oh, this way I'm feeling right now, that's normal. It's not me being
Yes.
unusually shy or me being whatever. It's actually normal. And it used to be a
Yes.
survival mechanism, but now it's a big killer. Allowing that part of our brain to take over and not make these first steps is really, really bad.
Yeah.
And so what you should do
Yeah.
is go, look, it doesn't cost me anything. If I want, I can come along to a virtual event. I can just meet other people. And what we invariably find is the new members then meet existing members from all other parts of the world who can tell their stories, and they go, oh, this thing is real. Oh, these people do love it. They love Stitch. So it gives them a sense
Right.
of safety, and also they make them feel welcome. And then they can start, coming along to things in their own area and connecting that way. So it's a just take it one step at a time. Don't overthink it. Don't go, I've got to find something in the next 3 weeks or else. Take your time. It's fine. Our limited membership,
Okay.
which is our free membership, is free forever. And you can always drop that down again because we find people's life situations change. We want everyone to know Stitch is a kind of social safety net for them forever. So just take your time and but realize that it's inevitable to everybody to be in your situation, but it's not inevitable that you stay in the situation. You always have the
Right.
option
Right.
to join a community
Right.
that's going to look after you.
Well, I can't wait to speak to about Stitch to all my clients. But before I let you go, please talk very quickly about wipeoutloneliness.org. That happens to be your
Yeah.
nonprofit.
Yeah, so we have, the community itself is the community itself is a not-for-profit, and we have there's a website, wipeoutloneliness.org. That's where we run our assistance programs for people who face financial
Okay.
difficulty, have disabilities, and stuff like that. Um, it works with Stitch, which is the social enterprise that runs the website, which is the kind of the engine to get everyone to create the community in the first place. Because the recipients of the charity are the people who face extreme difficulties, as I mentioned, financial or there's a range of kind of criteria for them. But at the end of the day, it's one big community. So we've got people who are loneliness affects everybody. We've got people in Stitch who are so wealthy, they've owned multiple businesses and so on, all the way through to people who are on the breadline and can't afford things. So we need to look out for them, but we also then, if you
Right.
can afford to pay, that's how we run the
Right.
community. So it's all about how you do that sort of thing. So wipeoutloneliness.org is for assistance and making positive change. But we find on Stitch, we don't like to talk about loneliness. We like to talk about fun. So if you go to the
Yes.
stitch.net website, it's all about, "Oh, that's what life looks like when I'm filled with friendship and fun like that." You go, "Yep, that's what it's about."
Okay, so if people want to join as we're
Yep.
speaking, do they go to www.stitch.com?
Stitch.net. Yep. Yep. Or
Okay.
they search Stitch Companionship, Stitch Community, and they should find it. But stitch.net,
So
stitch.net.
www.stitch.net.
Yeah.
On their computer, Apple
Yep, they can
or
if they
AP, does
wanted
it matter?
there is an app, so if you're on an Apple phone or a Google phone, you can go to the Play
Oh,
Store
okay.
and search, Stitch Companionship, Stitch Community. But start with a website. We often say, it's bigger, you can see a lot more on the if you've got a computer. If you don't have one, go to the
Yes.
library, you can do that, and you can see it, and it'll walk you through. It's a very everything is meant
Okay.
it's kinda step by step. Each page is just one thing at a time and yeah, go from there.
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna post this all in my description in my notes so people can have it there and they can
Yeah.
join. And I'm definitely gonna be passing the
Well,
word.
you should join
And
yourself.
I look forward to becoming a member myself because I am over
That's right,
50.
I was gonna say. Well, we'll get you set up. You can have your own group within Stitch and get all your members on there. So that absolutely.
And one more thing I need to say, since you're from Australia, I have a bestie in Australia named Tracy. She's in Queensland. Hi,
Hi,
Tracy.
Tracy.
If when you look at this video,
I love it. Love it. Where is she in Brisbane?
she's in
But
Queensland.
where in Queensland?
Oh,
No idea,
I
no
don't.
idea. No, I'm going up to Queensland next weekend to visit our Brisbane community, so, if she's
Okay.
there.
Well, she's married and has children, and she runs a couple of restaurants. She's a very busy woman. Her family owns a few restaurants. They're doing fantastic. And I still have not visited Australia. She invites many times, and I hope to be in Australia one day.
We'll get you
But
out here one day.
Andrew, thank you so much for coming on and uh, passing on about the community of Stitch. 340,000 members all over the world. If you become a member of Stitch, you can go to London, you can go to Australia, you can go to the UK and look up other people on Stitch and join that community. And Be part of that
We'd love
community.
them. We'd love them to join. That'd be great. Thanks, Trish, for the
Excellent.
opportunity. Great to
Andrew,
meet you.
thank you so
And keep
much.
on doing what you're doing, by the way. It's great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Take
Bye bye.
care. Bye-bye.